Good morning, everyone. Got an earlier Wednesday workout today. Just waiting for people to join, and we should get started promptly at 9:30. We're doing supersets today, strength supersets. So exercising 2 exercises back to back with no break in between. We've been doing this for the past few weeks, so for people who have joined before, this should be familiar. For equipment, as I put in comments, you will need, 2 cans or light hand weights, whatever you have on hand, and then a heavy book or a laptop or something similar that has, a few pounds of weight, up to like 5 pounds or more, somewhere in that line. And then that's it. That's all you'll need. Just body weight other than that. Again, we'll wait a couple more minutes and then we get started. If you have any questions, by the way, add them to the comment section and I'll kind of keep an eye on it and I should be able to answer as things come up during breaks in the workout. Make sure you have water handy. You want to stay hydrated. Let me adjust this camera a little bit so people can see my head. All right, that should be better. Better? Kinda. Good enough. Hopefully everybody's feeling okay today. Like in San Francisco, it's very, very gray and a little bit chilly, so motivation levels are not at an all-time high, but that's all right. They don't always have to be high. Okay, 9:30, let's get started with a warm-up. Same warm-up as usual, starting with big arm circles going back. We'll do 10 going back and then 10 coming forward. All right, adopting a nice wide stance on your mat or towel or floor or whatever you're standing on, and then just coming forward until you're touching the floor. And we're going to be rotating up side to side, alternating sides. Ooh, I am still a bit sore from my Monday workout. My goodness. I killed my hamstrings. We're going to do 5 on each side. And then roll on up when you're done with your 5. You're going to clasp the hands behind the back, press out through the chest, really, really stretch the front of those shoulders and stretch through the chest. And then if it feels okay, you're going to fold forward and let the arms relax up over the head. This should feel nice. And then release the hands, and again, roll on up slowly. We're going to go into some leg swings. So hang on to something for balance if you need it. We're going to be swinging 10 on each side, just letting the leg be nice and relaxed and loose. Think of it like a pendulum. You don't want to try to control the swing. When you get to 10, you're going to switch sides. So as always, today's workout should take about an hour. I try not to go over an hour because I know people will do some leg pulls here. People don't have a lot of time. All right, grabbing the knee, pulling in towards the chest, We're going to do 6 on each side. All right, we're actually going to add a stretch on today. I don't always do this one, but hips are feeling a little bit tight, so we're going to do some outward hip rotations, alternating sides, going for 10 on each side. It's like you're drawing a big circle with your knee. Again, if you need to hold on to something for balance for the single leg work, that is fine. Balance is not part of the requirement here. And when you get to your 10 on each side, we'll be ready to move on. If you feel some little pops and clicks and things happening in there, that is perfectly normal. It's an area that tends to get a little bit tight, especially if you are sitting all day, which I know a lot of us are right now, thanks to the quarantine. Okay, so supersets today, again, same format we've been doing for the past couple weeks. It's going to be changing up soon, but this one has been particularly popular, so I've kept it around for a little bit longer than I normally would. But basically, we're going to be doing 2 exercises back to back that focus on the same or similar muscle groups. No rest in between those exercises, but we get a rest in between each superset. So first superset is going to be a single leg glute bridge and a glute bridge hold down on the floor on your mat, whatever you've got. We're going 15 reps on each side for our single leg glute bridge, and then we're doing a 45-second hold for the glute bridge hold. So for your single legs, heels are going to be pretty close in towards your glutes. One leg is in the air, and then you're just pressing up through the heel, trying to get the hips as high as possible. And again, keeping all of the traction in your heel as you press up, and then we'll switch sides, press up on the other side for 15, and then for your glute bridge hold, I'll start my stopwatch for 45 seconds. Heels stay planted, and you're holding up and squeezing like crazy. So you should have your butt clenched so hard that if you had a pencil or something in there, it wouldn't fall out. So it should be squeezed super, super, super tight. I'm going to let everybody count their own reps on the single leg glute bridges, mostly because I do not want to dictate the speed at which you move. You should be moving at a speed that feels comfortable for you, and the speed that feels comfortable for me is not going to be the speed that feels comfortable for everybody. So 15 reps at your own pace, and then when you get to the glute bridge hold, if you're out of sync with me, you can either wait for me or just go ahead and get started, and it's going to be 45-second hold. All right, let's get to it. 15 on each side for your glute bridges. Either side can start. Palms are flat on the ground to help brace. When you get to your 15, you're going to switch sides. And when you get to your 15 on this side, other leg comes down, hips stay lifted, 45 seconds on the clock. Pressing up through the heels, trying to make sure that your hips are at the same level with your knees. So you don't want to be down here, you want to be lifted nice and high. Glutes squeezed. And don't forget to breathe. Breathing is important. Got about 20 more seconds. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. If you feel your hips start to drop, boost them back up and squeeze even harder. Last 5, and 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, going into a 30-second rest. Again, if you are not at the same cadence that I am in terms of rep speed, you can time your own rest breaks, but I am timing 30 seconds on my little stopwatch here, and then we'll dive into round 2 after 30 seconds. I do recommend taking about 30 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds in between these sets, just to give your muscles time to regenerate some of their energy for the next round. All right, there's 3, 2, 1. Again, either leg can start. Sorry, I've got hairs all over me. When you get to 15 on one side, you are switching legs, and the other side is lifting. And then when you get to 15 on this side, we are holding for that 45-second lift and squeeze. Keep the hips nice and high. Fifteen more seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, 30-second rest, and then we're going into our last round. Also, this should go without saying, but please make sure you're grabbing water anytime you need it. You don't have to wait for a rest break. If you're thirsty in the middle of a set, please take a drink in the middle of a set. This is informal. I can't see you, so I can't tell what you're doing. You can do whatever you want. 5 more seconds to rest. Let's go ahead and get in position for our last round. Again, either side starts, going for 15 seconds, and start when you're ready. I mean, not 15 seconds, 15 reps. Don't listen to me. I'm confused, clearly. Switching sides when you get to your 15. And when you get to 15 on your last side, holding up with both feet for 45 seconds. If you feel this in your lower back and not in your bum, squeeze your bum harder and try to lift a little bit higher. Fifteen more seconds. All right, last 5. And 3, 2, 1, and relax down. All right, round 1 is done. Glutes and hamstrings should be nice and warm, nice and activated. And now we get a minute to rest, minute and a half potentially, before we head into our next leg exercise. So, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning. You will want to be near a couch or a chair or some sort of surface, a bench, that you can use to sit on for the next exercise or for the next half of a superset. So we're going to start with a wall sit. So you're going to find any space of the wall that's nice and blank. We're heading down to a 90-degree angle in the legs, feet about hip to shoulder width apart on this one, and then we're just hanging out. Again, with that 90-degree angle, it's to make sure, so from the side, you want your heel and your knee, or your ankle and your knee to be directly in line. So you don't want the foot out too far in the front, and you don't want to be too far behind, because that puts a whole lot of stress on the knee that doesn't need to be there. So ankle right under the knee. And then we're going into a single leg, sit down, stand up. And what that looks like is exactly what it sounds like. One leg lifted, sit down, stand up. Try to keep the leg lifted the whole time. So if that feels incredibly uncomfortable or if it feels unsafe, there's definitely a fear to get past of trusting that there's something that's going to catch your sit when you sit down. Just do a regular sit, both legs to stand, sit to stand. If you're doing a regular sit to stand, try to pick a surface that's a little bit lower to increase the challenge. So we're going to be doing a 45-second wall sit, and then we're doing 10 seconds. I keep saying seconds instead of reps. 10 reps on each side for our sit down, stand up. You know, it's not even early morning. Like I don't have an excuse. I've been up for 3 hours. There's no reason for me to be fumbling my words. So again, same thing applies for reps. I will time the 45 seconds on my stopwatch for the wall sit, so don't worry about that. But then I want you to count your own reps on each side for the sit down, stand up, just to make sure that you're going at your own pace, because this one can feel a little bit wobbly, a little bit shaky at first. And you want to make sure that you're doing it at a speed that feels safe for you. Okay, starting with that wall sit, slide into position, timer is on. Try to keep the weight in the heels, make sure that your whole lower back is pressed into the wall. So try to keep your pelvis kind of tucked under to keep the stress off of your back. We're halfway there. Helps to kind of go into a little happy place, sing a little song, do a little dance. Try to forget what you're doing for 45 seconds. It's not that wall sits are incredibly difficult. They are difficult, but not incredibly difficult. And 3, 2, 1. It's that there's no movement involved. And so you have the tedium on top of the effort. All right, 10 on each side, sit down, stand up. Again, putting the weight in your heel as you stand so that you're keeping the quad and the glute fully engaged and working. Arms can be doing whatever they want. When you get to 10 on one side, you're switching to the other foot, or other leg rather. As you stand up, try to keep your chest nice and open. So try not to hunch forward. Try to stay nice and as vertical as possible. When you get to 10, take a break. There we go. Whew. The quads, they're alive. They are alive. All right, setting the timer for myself for 30 seconds. If you're still completing your reps, take 30 seconds afterwards. We're doing the same thing twice more. So we're not going to be moving on to something that you need to pay attention to. Doing the same thing. Try to keep moving on your rests. I know it's tempting to stay seated on a couch or chair, whatever you're using. But try to keep your heart rate going a little bit. Try to keep some warmth in the muscles. Okay, heading into round 2. Whenever you're ready, finding, I don't have the most convenient wall situation for this. Finding your wall sit. Timer is running, 45 seconds. Happy place, happy place, happy place. Trying to think of songs I could sing. I don't know. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. All right, more than halfway. Hang in there. Quads should be burning. 10 seconds left. Keep breathing. Stay with it. Almost there. 5 seconds. Keep going. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Done. Well, kind of done. Going into our sit to stand. I encourage you to push yourself a little bit if your knees feel okay, and try the single leg if you've been doing the double leg. If your knees do not feel okay, stick with double leg, please. General rule of exercise, don't hurt yourself. Whew. When you get to 10 on one side, we're gonna switch. I'm going for 10 on the other. When you finish your 10 on the other side, you're gonna take a break. And rest. All right, slightly longer break this time. Going into the last round. This is it for legs. We're doing arms, upper body next. So if legs have some juice left, you can release that juice on the next round. We'll take like 40 seconds, mostly because I need it. I'm being selfish. My legs are tired. So I'm taking an extra 10 seconds, and I invite you to take it along with me. Also, for people doing these workouts on a regular basis, I'm always happy to create workouts that cater to, let's go into our last round, cater to injuries or ability, mobility, movement limitations. So if there's stuff that you want to see, if you have restricted movement levels, always put a note in the comments or find me on Instagram and message me and make a request, and I am perfectly happy to post material on a wider variety of workouts. 20 more seconds. We can do this, people. We can do this. 45 seconds is nothing. It's less than a minute. It's just a flash. In fact, we only have 5 seconds left. That's how fast it is. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. Single leg or double leg. Sit to stand. Keep grounded through that heel. Trust the surface behind you. It's there for a reason. If you can, try to control the movement down so that you're working the quads on the way down and on the way up. When you get to 10 on one side, you're going to switch and go for 10 on the other. And then the legs are complete. Last 10. Almost there. My heart's pounding. I hope yours is too. When you get to 10, take a rest. All right. There we go. Whew. There's some sweat happening. There's a heart rate happening. These are good things. Not necessary, but not bad. Okay, moving on to upper body. We've got 3 supersets for upper body instead of 2. So starting with some chest-focused exercises, then moving into shoulders, and then moving into triceps. So today is a little bit more of a push day than a pull day in terms of what your upper body is doing. And basically, for those of you who don't know, it just means the muscles that are activated more when you push versus muscles that are activated more when you pull. So with push, we're thinking chest, shoulders, and then triceps. So we're going to start with some plank level changes, plank up downs. And then for our superset, you're going to need your heavy object. So book, dictionary, laptop, whatever you have to use for that. If you have a kettlebell at home, you can use a kettlebell, but you don't want it to be more than about 10 pounds. So this can be done on the knees or on the hands. You can also do this against the edge of your couch if that feels better for you. If you're doing it from the knees, we're basically alternating between a low plank and a high plank. So from the knees, making sure the tailbone is tucked under so that your lower back isn't arched. So tuck the tailbone under. You'll be coming down to the elbows, back up to the hands, down to the elbows, back up to the hands. And you want to make sure that it's not always the same arm pushing up. So if you're coming down on the right side and you push up on the right side, make sure that on the next round you come down on the left side and push up on the left side, then back to right and then left. We're doing 10 total, so you should get in 5 pushes with each arm. If you're doing it on your toes, I'm going to be doing it on my toes. Same concept, like a plank position, coming down to the forearms, up to the hands, making sure the hands stay directly underneath the shoulders, and you keep that tailbone tucked under to keep the lower back protected. Then our superset is going to be a front raise with your book. So keeping the core engaged, again, glute squeeze, tailbone tucked, lifting up to shoulder height, back down to the hips, up to shoulder height, back down to the hips. Make sure that your shoulder blades are staying engaged, so you don't want to be forward in the shoulders. Shoulders should be back and connected. Core stays engaged as always. Never let your core go. You should always be doing something. Okay, that was a 3-minute break, you guys. 3 minutes. Let's get into our first round. 10 plank up downs and 12 front raises. 12 to 15. 12 feels easy, do 15. All right, let's get to it. When you get to 10, right into your front raises and lift. And lift. I'm going for 15. 12 is not enough. But if 12 is enough for the individual, please stick to 12. You want to feel it in the shoulders. Round 1 done. See? No problem. One thing I forgot to mention, if you're doing your plank up downs on your toes, I put my feet a little bit wider, like think the width of a yoga mat or Pilates mat or whatever you're using. Just wider than you would have them in a normal plank, but it gives you a little bit more of a base of support. So there's less tendency for the hips to rock side to side as you're pressing up and coming down, because you want to be keeping that core nice and steady. So it feels a little bit more safe, a little bit more solid. It's my personal preference. So I invite you to try it. but it is by no means required. Okay, going into round 2, starting with those walking planks, marching planks, up-down planks, whatever you want to call them. Either side can start. We're going for 10, and we're going to be even on both sides. Keep your head up. When you get to 10, grab your book, your weight, whatever you're using, and raising up to the front. It's kind of like a Simba raise. You can think of it like that. When you get to your 12 or 15, however many you're doing, take a break. Put that right there. All right, timing for a minute rest. We're going to the upper end of our rest time. Again, my personal choice, because for some reason, this is particularly kicking my butt today. So, again, you can take a shorter rest break. You can take a slightly longer rest break, but I'm going for 1 minute. Stay hydrated. Shoulders should be getting pretty tired by now, but you want to keep some energy left in there because our next superset is entirely shoulders. My apologies in advance, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay, so 47 seconds, that's good. I feel good. All right, going into our last 10 up downs, last 12 to 15 raises, and then we'll take a longer break. Make sure you're not forgetting to breathe. It's super essential. Okay, last Simba raises. When you get to your 10 or 12, not 10, 12 or 15, take a rest. Let yourself relax. That is the last thing we'll need the big book for. So you can set it aside, whatever you've been using for your heavier weight. We're focused on cans or light hand weights and body weight from here on out. All right, we'll take a couple minutes before the next one, but I'll demo it. So we're going to be doing T-flies or reverse flies with a slightly straighter arm than your normal reverse fly. Supersetted with an overhead press. You're going to want your light hand weights or cans for both. For these, you want something that's 5 pounds or less, unless you are strong. Quite strong, in which case you can do more, but I would recommend keeping it on the lighter side. These are about 1 pound each, a little less than 1 pound. So frame of reference. So for our T-flies, pushing back through the hips, so you can see this from the side. What you don't want to do when you bend forward is this, because you can see instantly my back looks really uncomfortable. So what you do want to do is pretend there's a door behind you that you're trying to slam shut with your butt. So press back with the butt, and you see how the back stays nice and flat? That's what we're looking for. So knees are nice and lined up over the ankle, hips are back, back is flat, core is engaged, and then we are lifting out with the cans into a T position with the arms. So main difference here between this and a reverse fly is from the front. If you're doing a reverse fly, you've generally got a bit of bend in the elbow, if you can see. This one, we're going a little bit lower, and we're keeping the arms fairly straight in a T position. So it works similar muscles, but it's going to focus a little bit more on the muscles that help retract your shoulder blades than it is on the rear delts. So just an FYI. We're doing 15 of those, and then we're going into 12 overhead presses. So arms at 90, slightly inside the line of your shoulders. So following a path alongside your ears. Again, keeping the core engaged. Don't lock out the knees. So from the side here, no archy back, tuck under, knees are soft, slightly inside the line of the shoulders, and press. Okay. Breath has been caught. Sweat has cooled down a little bit. We're going to start with those T-flies. Again, 15 T-flies and then 12 overhead presses. Pressing back through the hips, nice and low. Arms are straight and fly it back. Really focus on feeling a squeeze in your shoulder blades. When you get to 15, immediately going into those overhead presses. I'm doing 15 on these. 12 is way too easy. So if you feel like you get to 12 and you've still got some juice left, keep going and hit 15 on those. And then we take 30 seconds to rest. Whew. I don't know about you all, but I am warm. Despite how chilly and gray it is in San Francisco, I've managed to get nice and toasty. Okay, go ahead and grab your hand weights. We're going into round 2, starting with those flies. Pressing back through the hips, squeeze back, kind of like you're a bird flapping your wings, because, you know, everybody knows what it feels like to be a bird. Going for 15. When you get to your 15, coming up to standing, and 15 overhead presses, 12 to 15. Try not to tense your neck. And then break. Easy peasy. We got one more set, then we're going to finish up with the triceps, and then we're going to do some core, and then we're going to cool down, and then you'll be done. It is the quietest class ever today. I think there's one person here. I apologize to everybody for having to switch the time, but for the next, well, this week and next week, it's going to be at 9:30 because I have other engagements at 5:30. And then we'll be back on regular schedule. Okay, last round of flies, and go. Really squeeze those shoulder blades. When you get to 15, going into the last round of overhead presses. And when you get to 15 here, I'm going to take a break. Boom. Done. Okay. Couple minutes to rest. That round wasn't so hard. Note to self, make it harder next time. We're going to finish off with some tricep work. So we're starting with a tricep overhead press, and then we're going to be doing some tricep dips. So this is where you'll want your surface. You can use the same surface that you used for your sit down, stand up. So couch, chair, bench, what have you, low table. You just want to make sure that it is anchored and stable wherever it is, because you're going to be putting your full body weight on it and lowering down and lifting up. So if it's not stabilized, like if it's a chair, it's just going to go flying across the room, and we don't want that. But we are starting with an overhead tricep press. I'm going to move back here so you can see my arms. All right, still can't see them. I'll do this kneeling so that you can see what I'm demoing on screen. So starting with arms up overhead, again, thinking about trying not to arch through the back, so keeping that tailbone tucked, and then we're just bending down behind the head, keeping the elbows nice and tight, and pressing up. So arms are coming as far down, our hands are coming as far down as they can, and press up. So you want to make sure that your elbows are not coming really far forward, and you want to make sure that they're not out super wide. So they should be nice and tight in to the shoulders as you press. And then tricep dips, starting on the edge of your surface, hands in close to the hips. You're just sliding right off the edge and then coming straight down. So you do not want to be way out here, down here. That's going to hurt your shoulders. Keep your butt in close. If you feel your back rubbing against the surface as you come down, that's okay. And if you want to make it harder, feet can be out straight. If you want to make it really hard, cross one leg over the other and continue on that way. For reps, we are doing 15 overhead tricep presses and then 12 of the dips. All right, let's do it. Then we'll get into our core, and then we'll be done. Okay, overhead, elbows nice and narrow, and press for 15. When you get to 15, immediately jumping into your tricep dips. 12. When you get to 12, take a break. All right, setting the timer for 30 seconds. Again, this one is not super duper hard, so we won't take a super duper long rest break. The overhead presses, again, it depends on what weight you're using. With my 1 pound cans, they're very easy. So you can up the reps, or you can just rely on those tricep dips to create the challenge for you. Sorry, hiccuping. Okay, round 2. Grab your light hand weights, whatever you're using. Arms up overhead. Keep that core engaged, elbows in nice and tight. When you get to 15, right into your dips. And take a break. 30 seconds. One more set. And then we'll do a little bit of core. I think that's like the 5th time I've said that. I'm sorry. My brain is not working this morning. Blame it on lack of sleep. 10 more seconds to rest, and then we're heading into our last tricep round. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Okay. This is it. Grab your hand weights, arms up overhead, elbows in tight, weights together, and press. When you get to 15, heading into your last round of dips. When you get to 12, take that break. Ta-da! Okay. Whew. Grab some water, towel off if you need to. Or maybe this was easy, breezy for you, and you didn't even break a sweat. Which is totally fine too. But I'm sweating. We're going into core next. So we're gonna give one round for the shoulders to rest. Or we'll do the shoulder-based, the plank exercise. I can't talk. Why can't I talk today? We're doing the plank exercise second in the lineup so that your shoulders have the first 30 seconds to relax before you have to put weight on them, because we just worked them a bit. So same superset format. We're doing 2 core exercises back to back, 30 seconds each, and then we'll take a rest in between, and we're doing 3 total rounds. So I'll time the 30 seconds on my handy dandy stopwatch here, so you don't have to worry about that. And we are starting with a scissor kick, which is what I call it. I don't know if that's what everybody else calls it, but it's what I call it. So we're gonna call it that. Starting with a scissor kick. So you're gonna be lying on your back, shoulders off the ground, legs out straight, and you're crossing the legs one over the other. Now, the lower your legs are for this, the harder it's gonna be. The higher your legs are, the easier, or the more bent your knees. So if you can do this with knees bent and have it not feel awkward, you can do that. But I would recommend trying to keep the legs straight and then just going a little bit higher. And try to keep those shoulders off the ground. Hands can be behind the neck to support the head. Just make sure you're not pulling on your neck or pulling on your head, because you don't want to hurt anything. Again, exercise should not hurt you. And then we go into our plank. We're doing a body saw. So my dad's a carpenter, but for those people who are not familiar with saws, like a hand saw, it makes like a back and forth motion basically. And that's what we're doing with our bodies in our plank. So elbows right under the shoulders. We're going to be in a low plank position, and you're going to push yourself forward and back using your toes. Okay? Trying to keep the hips nice and low and the core engaged. So try not to let your lower back go. Keep your glutes squeezed and that tailbone in that sort of scared / pooping dog tuck under, like a hunch for your lower back. All right, 30 seconds each. We've had enough time to rest. Let's get into it. Starting with those scissor feet, shoulders off the ground, and 3, 2, 1, and go. And again, these should not be super fast. You want to keep them controlled. Pay attention to how your lower back is feeling. If it's starting to hurt or lift off the ground, raise your legs up higher or bend your knees. If you want to challenge yourself more, go down a little bit lower with the legs. You'll notice that this is probably activating your quads. 2, 3, 2, 1, and straight into those body saws. It's activating your quads too, and we worked the quads. So you might feel a little bit of extra work there too. On this plank, Keep your neck up. Don't let your head drop. And again, if this feels really uncomfortable, just hold a regular plank. You don't have to add the sawing motion. 5 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent work. I can't see you, but I know you did great. All right, taking a break, heading into round 2. We'll take like a 40-second break in between these. It's a fair amount of work for the core, so we don't want to overwhelm it. We want to have energy for the last 2 sets. All right, 15 seconds left to rest. I'm trying to think if I have any other announcements or anything that I need to, no low impact cardio video this weekend. I apologize, but again, I have plans starting today, so I won't be here to do it. But next weekend, I will resume with my normal uploads. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, second round of scissors. Ten more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Switching into that plank. And go straight into it. Again, make sure you're keeping that head up. Don't let the head drop and the neck bend. Ten more seconds. Last 5. And 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay. 40 seconds to rest. One more round. If your lower back is hurting on those planks, that is usually a sign that they are not being done correctly. So really, really make sure, I would say stop doing the plank and reset before you restart, and really make sure that you're not arching through the low back and letting that core go. So again, tailbone tucked under. Think about like clenching your glutes like we do in your glute bridges. You're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. And that's going to help support the lower back. Your glutes are everything. Okay, last round. Get ready. And 3, 2, 1, and go. Halfway. And 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and we switch. Switch, switch, switch. Oops, 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 oops. It's not working. There we go. Okay, plank and go. Make sure you're not clasping your hands either. You should have your forearms totally parallel. 10 more seconds. Last 5. And 3, 2, 1, and done. All right. From here, just relax back into your child's pose. And let the heart rate come down for a second. This should feel pretty fantastic after all the work we just did. Taking nice, deep, even breaths. And then you're going to be walking the hands over to the left. So really grabbing onto the floor with your right arm so that you're getting a solid stretch through your right side body. You should feel it in your lat, like kind of the back side of your armpit area, all the way down the side, through the obliques. And then walking the hands over to the left, same thing. Nice stretch through that side body. And then coming back to center. Oh, coming up to the knees. We're going to do a little quad stretch. You can do this standing as well. But try it on the knees first. If you need to have a bookshelf or something, a piece of furniture handy nearby to balance, that's totally fine. But you're bringing one leg forward, heel planted firmly under the knee, and then you're reaching back and grabbing your ankle and pulling that heel in towards your glute. And we're just going to hang out here. 30 seconds-ish, and then we'll switch sides. If you need to put like a rolled up towel or a pillow or something under your knee, that's fine. I know that the pressure on the knee can be bothersome sometimes. All right, switch sides. Grabbing the other ankle. Ooh, falling over. Apparently I can't move my head at the same time. Stretch multitasking doesn't work. And then letting that foot go. Come on up to standing. We'll stretch out the shoulders a bit. So starting with the backs of the shoulders, grab behind the elbow and pull that arm across your body. Don't lock the elbow out, so keep a little bit of bend in the arm. Hug it in towards you. Focus on your breathing as everything cools down. Then we're going to get the other side, grabbing above the elbow, pulling across the body, getting a nice little stretch through the back of that shoulder. This one should feel nice, should not hurt. Okay, and then same one we did at the beginning, clasping the hands behind the back, push out through that chest. We did a lot of work on the chest today, so really, really stretching it out. You can kind of try to lift the hands up behind you as well to increase the stretch. A couple seconds here, and then we're going to take it into a forward fold with the hands clasped. So if it feels okay, keeping them connected as we come forward. If it doesn't feel okay, just let them go and let yourself hang down. Make sure the knees are not locking out, so nice, loose, relaxed knees. And then let the arms flop forward. All right. One more stretch for the triceps, and then I will let everybody go. Grabbing the elbow, stretching behind the head, pulling back through that elbow. This should feel good on the shoulder too. And then switching sides, grabbing that elbow, keep hitting my hair and pulling back. And then release it. Let's do 3 deep breaths. It's like the cheesy classic ending to a workout, but it does feel really, really nice. So big breath in. And then exhale. As you breathe in, try to stretch. We're done. Bravo to you for showing up on a Wednesday morning and crushing it. Nice work. Ooh, just under an hour. Perfect. All right, this video will be posted for whoever wants to do it. Next Wednesday, again at 9:30 a.m. and then returning to our 5:30 p.m. Pacific time the following week, so 2 weeks from today. No cardio this weekend, but back to normal cardio schedule the following weekend. And that's it. That's all I got. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Stay well. Please keep safe. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.